Okay, everyone. So in this next lesson, let's try to go work with our community section here. And I would want to change the layout of our images box here, or the boxes that we have here. So let's go and try to apply some media queries to the box. And let's see how this will look. So I would want the boxes to float left. Height will be 100 pixels. Width will be 90%. Padding will be 2 pixels. Text align will be center. Let's see how that will look. And there we go, right? So we have here a different layout now for the boxes, and we increased the width to 90%. We aligned it to the center, and then we decreased the height to 100 pixels. Now, what I would want to also add here will be a little bit of margin on top, 5%, top and bottom, and 1% for left and right. Now let's try to go and target this community header. So if I go Control F and look for community, we can see here that we have the H2 that we named community heading. So let's go and let's try to go back here, or let's first try to go and Control C this and then go back here. And then community heading, let's apply some media queries here. And then just type here. Perhaps we can go and try to adjust. Let's see if text align will make some changes here. So text align is not working here. Let me just close this. So we know that this is a heading inside of the div element. Let's give it a little bit of margin left. At least perhaps 30 pixels. An absolute unit. Okay. So we were able to adjust it. Let's adjust it a little bit more and make it 40 pixels. Okay, so at least it's already on the center here. Now let's go and try to add some media queries for our box 1. And here I would want to go and, so this is the box 1. Let's go and try to change the box here. Let's go and add box 1 here. Then let's move the background position. Instead of left, I would want it to be top. Let's refresh. So at least you would see here, we were able to show the header nav of the image for RBS Lopez photography. Let me just refresh that again, and you would see we were able to move it, and we are showing here we were able to move down the image here because we positioned it to the top. Okay, so you can play around with that value, this property value, guys, if you try to go here and try to look for this, inspect this element. Let me just resize that. So that's li back. If you remember, guys, that's actually the background position here. This has different positions, right? So we have the left, and there you go. You will see that there's bottom. There, let's see here. We have center, right, revert, initial, So again, we've already discussed the background position here before. So I would suggest that you try to read through this property for the different property positioning or background positioning. So we have so far used if we try to use the top or the right, let's see what will happen here. Right. If we try to, let me go and decrease this and go down here. So let's go and type here right. So at least you would see that that's how it looks like there. If we use left, if we use bottom, so it's showing more part at the bottom part of the image. If we try to use center, so that's the, so this is one way for you to go and try to test things out. So we have revert, initial, left, revert, top, unset. Let's see what that will look. So, but let's go and use the top position here. So again, I just wanted to show you that at least you'll have an idea about the background position on how it repositions the image inside of our box here. Now let's go to our box 2 and let's also give this a media query. Let me just readjust this and select our box 2 here. Then let's go and change the background image. I would want to change the background image to images, and let's go and look for a different image, mbchronicles.png, because I don't want to use the logo here, and instead I'm going to use a different image, which is the actual print screen of the header of the site that I made for one of my friends who owned the site. Okay, so now we have two different images. So if I go and try to resize it, we are using their logo. Here you would see that this is the print screen of the actual site that I made for my photography site, and here is the logo of my friend's publishing site. And here a different photo. We were able to implement a different photo when the site is viewed in a mobile device or in a smaller uh, sized browser or screen or device. Now let's also adjust the background position. So if you remember, we can implement two values here. We can put here 50% and 42%. Let's see how that will look. And background size, cover, there we go. So we were able to occupy the whole box here. So if you remember here, guys, this is the X and Y horizontal and vertical positioning. So from the top here is 0% and here 100%. So if you try to go look at the documentation, that's actually there. So you will see here XY horizontal position. The second value is the vertical position. The top left corner is 0%. The right bottom corner is 100%. If you only specify one value, the other value will be 50%. The default value is 00. Okay, I just wanted to clarify this so at least you will be familiar with what values that we have implemented here. So again, if you're in question, do your research, try to check out, Google this property for CSS and HTML. Look for the documentation in MDN or in W3 schools. Now let's go down here in box 3 and apply. Let me just go and same deal here. Let me just arrange this. Now let's go and apply this in here. Of course, we need to have our closing parenthesis here. Now let's do some changes also. Background, image, URL, images, sidhaya 2.jpg. I don't want to use this first logo of ours here. Let's save that. Let's see. And there you go. I also want to set the background position to 15% and 42%. And background size will be cover. Let's see how this will look. Okay. So now we have different images when we resize the browser. And if we try to resize it, again, we have different images here on the desktop version, and for the mobile version, we have different images here, or specifically for box 2 and box 3, right? Perhaps we can go and also copy this here and give it a 1 pixel value. Okay, so this the border is also seen here. We have a border for the box. So that will be all for this lesson, everyone. I hope you got some ideas on how to change the layout. Again, the basics that we have tackled in the previous sections, I'm hoping that you're seeing now how to use those basics, because basics is really very important, the foundation. I'm hoping that now, right now, everyone, you're able to read this information that we have here. We now understand the property, class names, the customized class names, the difference between um, element selectors and class selectors, and how these keywords are used, or what are these keywords. And again, I will always go back. If you're not sure with what you're reading here right now, what you're seeing here, it's like you looking into the dictionary. If you encountered a new word, let's say you have a new word that was introduced to you in a movie that you're watching, in a conversation that you had with another person. Again, if you're not sure with what the meaning of the word, we go and try to do research about it, right? And then after we have learned that this is something that exists, that word exists in English, this is what we do. We know that this is a word that exists. Now we need to understand what it means, then remember it, and then use it in a sentence. As I've said before, it's almost similar to learning a new language. We are just right now learning the language of the computer when we give instructions to the browser here on how to display the elements, the markup that we have written, so that it will display similar to what we are seeing here right now. So again, I'm sure if you do a lot of practice, you really get your hands dirty, guys. In the long run, you will be able to understand all of this. You will be able to further improve your skill set. So I really suggest that you go and try to list down some possible ideas of websites that you would want to work on, and try to build a lot of projects. And in the long run, I'm sure you will be able to familiarize yourself with all of these properties, how they work, and the process on how you go and do debugging and figuring things out. So that's why we're doing a lot of coding from scratch here. And I really want to get you through the basics here. Just take note, everyone, there is a much easier way to do some of the layouting here, but we are not going through that yet here in this course, because I want you to really understand the basics and the foundation of understanding the markup, how we can use the markup here. Because once you go and learn these basics, I'm sure that it will be easy for you to transition to CSS libraries and frameworks that are already available, that will make our life as a developer much easier. So just remember, the easy way is the hard way. The best way of learning about anything is by doing, as according to Richard Branson, and as according to Nicholas Sparks, nothing that's worthwhile is ever easy. So just remember that, guys. The easy way is the hard way, and that's why we are hard coding all of this, and we are not going to be using any CSS frameworks in this course, but instead we work on hard coding. That's what we've been doing in our projects or in our exercises here. We are doing hard coding. So I'm hoping that that's something that you keep in mind. The easy way is the hard way, because if you can overcome the hard way, so the easy way is something that will be very easy for you. Okay, I'm sure that when you learn this things that we are learning here, once you try to look into the CSS frameworks and libraries, or libraries that have already been developed by other developers, it will be easy for you to transition to that process, because you did the hard way. You learned it the hard way. So that will be all for this lesson right now. In the next lesson, we will be working with the footer section. So thank you everyone, and see you on our next lesson.